Hi everyone and welcome to the Gangsters in Love retrospective. My name's Joseph Tan, the director of the film, and I hope you enjoy this mini documentary. I've wanted to take a look back on the making of my first feature for a while now, but I could never work out what I wanted to say, until now. In March 2009 I'm kicking off a free film festival showcasing the features of Gore Cartoons. Not just because I want to show the films to a large audience again, but also because March marks 3 years since Gangsters in Love was first shown. Same venue, same time, just 3 years later. Everyone and anyone are welcome to attend. Ticket prices will be around £3 and all the money will go towards the ARC, a local registered charity. Before all that, however, I'd like to take a look back on the film that made me who I am today, where I started, who was with me, and my views on how I think the film turned out, mixed with some behind the scenes footage that has so far never been seen. Hopefully you'll enjoy what you see, but if not, then that's no bother, I won't take offence. After all, I made this film for me first, the public second. Producing Gangsters in Love wasn't always easy, as I'm sure you'll discover while watching this documentary, but that shouldn't suggest the film wasn't a pleasure to work on. It was the first film of many to come, so on that note, cue flashback number 1, writing. Project Gill started life as an idea between me and Patrick Lau, the actor who would eventually play Frank Lee, and my lifelong best friend. In late 2003 I moved into a flat where I was able to concentrate on my writing. Patrick helped me move in, and as time went on he seemed to become a part-time lodger. We'd stay up all hours just chatting together. Life, death, women, the film, you name it, we talked about it. We also indulged in our lifelong hobby, video gaming. Come on, I can't lose. Oh, fuck! I've never lost. Boy. Yeah. It was around this time that Patrick became my co-producer on Gangsters in Love. Originally an animated project, the characters, the story, even the film's setting, everything was put to Patrick before I ever put pen to paper. We started to work as a team, and as time passed the project soon became a joint venture. Ironically, writing began on the 1st of April 2004. I never thought about it at the time, but maybe that date was some sort of comedic sign for things to come. The writing took around 10 months on and off, with Patrick there virtually every day for both support and advice. Once writing began, I started work on the film's logo, a minor detail for many, but not for me. For me, the logo represents the very essence of the film, the heart if you will, whether it be a romantic comedy or a violent slasher flick. It was important to get the logo right before the script was ever completed. As you can see from these pictures, the logo went through several changes before finally being completed in early 2005, all set for the shooting. Once writing ended, I started work on the film's biggest hurdle, finding actors to help turn the project into a reality. I advertised on local forums, hung up posters at colleges, and I even contacted the local university for help. This was during a time when my film knowledge was still in its infancy, and I knew absolutely nothing and no one in the local film industry. Naturally, I expected to hear nothing. As time went on though, I was both surprised and shocked when I got not just one response, but several. Towards the end of 2004, I'd met several people from around the Middlesbrough area to appear in Gangsters in Love. Not all of them were suitable, but the ones that were I invited back for auditions in 2005. Patrick was the first person I ever properly auditioned. I gave him the role of Frank Lee, and if I'm honest, I always intended on casting Patrick as Frank. During the writing stages, I'd used Patrick as a basis for the character. Patrick was Frank and Frank was Patrick, so it seemed crazy going with somebody else now that development had gone so far on the character. How much of Frank's cheating personality was based on Patrick, however, I don't think I should say. Not because I don't know, but because I know Patrick's watching. Back in 2004, Patrick and I, along with another old friend of ours called Stuart, went on a road trip down south to Exeter. While there, both Patrick and I let the cat out of the bag and told Stuart about our, at the time, secret project. Stuart seemed interested in being involved both in front and behind camera, so when time for auditions came, I quickly called him up for a meeting.
Fuck the job. Let's talk about the count... Oh, can I start again?
Yeah. Stuart went on to play Gear Guy Gary, a minor role but an important one both at the start and towards the end of the film. The next actor to be auditioned that landed a role was Alex. I first met Alex at the end of 2004, and since then we've not only become good friends, we've also become very good workmates. Alex, along with his girlfriend Jo Morris, were responsible for getting the majority of Gill's early cast and crew together. Alex was also cast as the character Bill Fulgram in the film, due mostly because Alex wanted to play the role in question.
I came here to kill and chew bubblegum. It looks like I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's good. One of Alex's best friends, Jay Young, came into the equation in 2005, though I have to admit, at first glance, I thought he was a bit of a time waster.
I can understand where it come from, but then again, wouldn't you be the same if he had the power that he possesses?
The reason was this. I was due to meet him for a drink one evening at what is now known as the Tavern, but for whatever reason, he never showed up. After a bit of investigation on Alex's part, it was discovered that Jay's bus from Hartlepool had been held up. The reason? A coward walked in front of the bus and decided that that was a good place to take a nap. When Jay finally arrived, I cast him as Bill's brother Will, due to both Alex and Jay looking slightly similar to one another. Maybe not brother material, but it was close enough for my liking. Progress on the film was going great, but there was one item that had so far been overlooked: the camera. But on the 14th of February that all changed, because that's the date my Panasonic NVGS400 finally arrived. On the surface it just looks like any other camcorder, but looks can be deceiving, for it's what's under the hood that makes this camera so special. It was the most powerful camera on the market for its price, and at just under £900 it was worth every penny. A price that even to this day hasn't changed due to the sheer lack of a decent successor. With camera in hand and a willingness to use it, I was finally able to start work. Real work on Gangsters in Love. The day after, Patrick came over to help test the camera, but before Patrick actually arrived, I'd started to do a few tests of my own.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Once arrived, both Patrick and I got to work on a few bigger tests, namely some mocked-up scenes from the film. Both of us had never acted before, and this led to a few unexpected complications.
Oh, Frank. Oh, Eco. Oh. Nothing but a brace. Nothing. Oh, Frank. Ah, Frank. Nothing.
The new live-action based Gore cartoons was ready, and it's here that the casting really got off the ground. It seemed like every other day I was meeting this person, auditioning that person. Andy Morwood, whom I met in 2004, came on board as Terry Fortuna.
To the Techno Union. The Techno Union.
Raymond Tan, my brother, took an interest, and he was cast as two characters, the afro-wielding Carlos and Sid.
Seiko's dead, Aiko's just been killed, and Frank's about to be killed. And you just shot Marvin in the face, motherfucker!
I even received a phone call from the legend that was Andy Hutt, who is sadly no longer with us.
Where can I have a smoke? I know, guys, let's go up. Just to the roof, you know, it's not safe up there. I've been loads of times.
I hope no one falls or anything.
We're not going to shoot each other up here.
The final performer I'd like to mention is Larry Bundy Jr., a close friend of mine, and the actor who would eventually go on to play the boss's voice. The boss was probably the most important character in the entire film. He was the bad guy, he was pure evil, and he made the decisions. So it was important for me to find an actor who would reflect this in their voice. And looking back, I feel Larry Bundy Jr. was the only choice when it came to casting this role. All these people plus more auditioned and took part in multiple mock-ups, all in the name of getting things right.